This is Sick and Wrong, America's #1 source for antisocial commentary. Brought to you by the Reach Around Foundation.
Welcome to podcast number 3 of Sick and Wrong. This is your host, D. Simon.
And I'm Lance Wackerly.
Podcast number 3. I know people have been anticipating this show for a whole week now. And it's finally here. Your dreams have been answered. No more hate mail, please. Actually, a funny thing, Lance. You remember how last week I was telling you that I just made a MySpace page for Sick and Wrong MySpace page. People go check it out. Not quite sure what the URL is, but just do a search under Sick and Wrong Podcast at hotmail.com. That's our email address. But you can find our MySpace page. And, dude, we've already been getting email. I mean, we've done 3 podcasts, and we're already getting email.
Everybody's on the MySpace.
It's pretty cool. I'm thinking people are actually listening to this show.
So, do you think the people are listening to the podcast, or they're just interested in Sick and Wrong sexually?
Well, this is the weird thing. If you go check out the MySpace page, I made a bunch of flyers. That the Sick and Wrong flyers I was telling you about. It's the Sick and Wrong Podcast, has their email address on it and whatnot. One of them had this girl, she had her arms amputated off and her legs amputated off. She was butt naked. She was actually kind of hot. I mean, I've never been into that per se, but she actually looked pretty good. Yeah, I mean, for being like a quadruple amputee. Well, whoever the MySpace overlord is, they deleted that picture.
Yeah. What if that was really you? What if that was really your picture? Wouldn't you feel bad?
Yeah, I'd be like, well, he was saying there's no pictures of nudity allowed.
Oh, well, the nudity.
And they also deleted that picture of the black guy with the elephantitis balls. It's like his balls are about the size of a basketball.
Do we live in communist Russia?
Dude, seriously, I feel I'm being fucking persecuted, and I think it might be of an anti-Semitic nature. I don't know. I don't want to spread any rumors here about MySpace because they I mean, we do have a page up there, but
is the page
2 pictures deleted: balls and amputees. Maybe they don't like big balls and amputees.
Now I feel persecuted.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of bothered me. But anyways, it's weird. We're already getting email, and so I was kind of excited. I checked the email. It's a bunch of dudes. A bunch of dudes are emailing me saying, I like you, or hey, pretty. And, it's funny because I put as my sex on my gender on the site. I said I was female, 46 years old. But if you saw a picture of us, if you went to someone's page and there was like a big, a picture of big testicles or a picture of some chick puking, would you send that person an email saying, hey, how you doing? I'd like to meet you?
There's some sad men out there. And I think a large concentration of them are on MySpace.
I always thought MySpace was for the kids.
Not anymore, man.
It's like now all the scary old trolls. That shit blowed up. Yeah, all the scary old trolls are patrolling MySpace. Well, people, go check out the MySpace page. It's kind of cool. As always, the email address for Sick and Wrong is sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com. And the website address is just sickandwrong.blaringfoghorn.com. So, Lance, how was the weekend?
I was down in L.A. It was pretty good.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Went down to go check out the lady?
I went down to check out the lady.
Romantic tryst.
But I got to say something about this. So I'm flying back, right? My flight's delayed. I'm kind of annoyed. I have a carry-on bag. I'm one of those people that carries on my luggage. I hate waiting for that stupid merry-go-round down in the airport.
I never check my baggage.
And my carry-on bag.
I never check my satchel.
I check it for prostate cancer once in a while, or testicular cancer, I guess. But my carry-on is like the size of a lunchbox, like a Dukes of Hazzard plastic lunchbox. And you see these people with these steamer trunks with the wheels on it and everything.
I don't fucking get that. These people bring like those huge carry-ons and shove them up in that little air, the compartment. So I'm in, one of the last people to get on the plane, and obviously they won't let me take mine on. They're going to check it. I'm not one of those people who makes a stink about it. But then I go on the plane, and I see these people with the big steamer trunks, and I don't know if you noticed this lately, but now people get wheelie bags for their children, their small children. Wait, they wheel their children in bags?
No, the mom will have a wheelie bag, the dad will have a wheelie bag, and the kid, who's like 4 years old, will have a little pink Barbie wheelie bag.
What the fuck does the kid have in the wheelie bag?
I don't know.
Why does a kid need a wheelie bag?
It doesn't. You should have to put your kid in the overhead compartment and let me use that chair for my bag.
You should have to check your kid in a separate whole compartment of the plane. like a kid's compartment.
Right.
Like a kid's room
like the
with like a bunch of those
something.
little balls, those little plastic balls that they can play in.
Right.
Just stick them in the back.
It would keep them safe, too.
Soundproof.
Yeah, they'd be all wedged in the balls.
I actually think that'd be kind of cool. Soundproof tank.
And the only other thing I have to say about the wheelie bags, even for adults, if you're not competent enough to steer a wheelie bag, you don't get a wheelie bag.
Down the aisle.
You see these people anywhere, even through the airport. It's like going all over the place. It's flipping up and hitting you.
The thing is, like, they've had that luggage for 20 years. The wheels are coming off.
No, it is not. It's not
packed to capacity.
It's not defective luggage. People are idiots.
So you're saying the people are defective?
It's totally, it's the people. They can't steer a wheelie bag. They shouldn't get one. They should get a big plastic garbage bag that they have to throw over their shoulder.
And LAX is just a nightmare anyways. You have all these people coming and going with all their luggage.
And it's, during the week I feel it's better. Business travelers seem to know what they're doing a little more. But yeah, Sunday you get all the, weekend vacationers. It's just a nightmare.
So did they let you bring your bag onto the plane? Or
no,
did they try to make you,
they made
you check it at the door?
Yeah, I had to
at
check
the gate?
it. Had to check it. And as I'm getting on the plane, I look, 5 people up, and there's, a family with 3 kids, and they've all got their little, SpongeBob wheelie bag, Barbie wheelie bag.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I almost went off.
What's funny is when I went to Vegas last time, all I brought was one of those those suitcases, like the things that carry your suit, garment bags.
Yeah, the garment bag, right.
So, and they're trying to make me check the garment bag.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the hell? And what's funny about that is, like, so they force you to check it at the gate. They don't give you any kind of identification tags or anything. They're just like, oh, no, don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
They're supposed to.
Dude, the last time they did this at Southwest, they didn't even give you any identification. I ended up taking my garment bag with me, but this couple behind me was just like, they're bitching at the stewardess.
Yeah,
and everything.
People get angry.
Yeah, it was funny because I kept trying to incite it, just being like, man, you should definitely get it. You should definitely get some kind of identification.
See, whereas I just bottle it all up and then save it for the podcast.
Yeah, I was trying to make this guy just freak out. I wanted to see him like attack when the stewardesses. Because then you know what happens if someone freaks out on the plane? No, he didn't. But he was still like, he was raising a ruckus. But I was hoping that everyone would just kind of grab him and hold him down. They bring out those plastic ties and hog tie him.
Yeah, but you know what happens?
That's what they do to you if you freak out.
Yeah, but you know what
happens
is your flight gets delayed like a couple hours, and everybody's gonna hate you because they're gonna realize that you incited it.
Yeah, I guess that is
Well, that
true.
was just I just had to go off on that, and
that
someday we'll have the sick and wrong personal jet, and then all those problems will go away.
And then it'll be fine, definitely. Well, this is another edition of Sick and Wrong here, podcast number 3. I'm excited about this one because I have a damn good article. And let me just rehash the point of the show, the perspective that we do here. Yes, we do present weird, repulsive, disturbing news items of the week, but this isn't a news show. This show's a competition. Lance and I compete as to who has the most disturbing news item of the week, and we win a case of beer. And we invite the listening audience to vote. So you can email us, sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com, and vote for what you consider to be the most disturbing news article of the week. And we also invite you to send in news items.
Right.
We'll read them on the air.
Or if you feel you can embellish an article that we've already covered, we're willing to go into that too. Maybe I would have won, and somebody will embellish your article, and we'll have to retract my win.
We could retract the win, and then you'd owe me 2 cases of beer.
I would probably just regurgitate the beer that I drank, and you could have that in like a big bowl.
I don't know if I'm down with that.
Okay. Well.
But anyways, let's move on to the show here.
So you're leading off this week?
Last week you started.
Home team advantage?
Yeah, last week you started, so this week I guess it's me. I guess I'm going to be starting it. So here's article number 1 right here, my first article of the night.
Let's hear it.
So this one actually is very current. It happened on January 22nd, just yesterday. I saw it in the news, and it's from Oregon. And I saw it on a news website from Oregon.
The West Side?
Well, I was doing a search for just, I always kind of peruse all the news websites, and I found this one in Oregon, and it's kind of sick, it's kind of wrong, but the thing is, it's humorous, because last week I didn't have a very humorous article.
Right.
I had a sick and wrong article.
Yeah, you got to step.
It didn't have the humor.
You got to step up with the humor this week.
And that's why I stepped up with the humor. This has like Mel Brooks written all over it. It's great. Okay, so the way it starts, here's the headline: Man puts legs into assault on state trooper. Doesn't that just sound good?
Yeah, I don't even understand what it means. It's
confusing. It makes you want to even hear the rest of the article. So here's the explanation. I guess this happened in a place called Chemult, Oregon. Chemult. I don't even know where this is. But it's in what happened is a Chemult man was arrested, this is just on Saturday, after authorities say he threw both of his prosthetic legs at an Oregon State police trooper.
Both of them, huh?
Both of them. He took both of them and threw them at the state trooper. So this is what happened here. So Joel Kackstetter, who was not the leg thrower. No, actually, Joel. My bad here. Let me retract that statement. Joel is the leg thrower. Adam Kackstetter, his brother, was the driver of the vehicle. What happened is Joel and Adam were driving. And
you can't drive with prosthetic legs.
No. Adam, the younger brother, 26 years old, was driving, and Joel was the passenger. And Kackstetter was the passenger in the vehicle, driven by Adam Kackstetter, 26, of Chemult, and they were stopped by an Oregon State Police trooper named Don Newcomb at about 12:30 a.m. because they were driving the wrong direction on Highway 97.
These guys were drunk?
Yeah, they were very, very drunk. So instead of driving north on Highway 97, because they're in the
northbound lane.
They were driving south.
Right.
And so, as you would expect, a state police trooper pulled them over. And according to the report, Newcomb, the officer, asked the driver to leave the vehicle after smelling alcohol in his breath and noticing he had glassy, bloodshot eyes. The driver steadfastly refused. He completely refused to get out of the vehicle. So then his, you know what? It's not even his brother. This is his dad.
Oh,
he was driving
awesome.
with his dad.
Awesome.
His dad, 53-year-old Joel Kackstetter, with his prosthetic limbs, then got out of the sports utility vehicle shouting, "Let's get him." Authorities say that he charged at the trooper, telling him he would rip his head off. The trooper then kicked him in the chest and knocked him on the ground. Meanwhile, Adam, the son, got out of the car and approached the trooper from behind and jumped on him. The trooper knocked him off, handcuffed him, and then while he was handcuffing him, Joel, the father with the prosthetic limbs, charged the officer once again. So he had already been kicked in the chest, knocked to the ground, got back up, charged the officer once again, verbally threatening him by claiming that he had an AK-47 and a bullet with the officer's name on it. And then he started to proceed to go around the back of the vehicle, I guess presumably to get the AK-47. Meanwhile, the officer just kind of let him go, looking for the AK.
Yeah, that's not a very good copping.
He took his son, Adam, the driver, to the patrol car and then started chasing down Joel. And I guess he kicked him from behind and knocked him to the ground again. After falling to the ground, Joel managed to, I guess with great difficulty, pull off his prosthetic limbs and toss them at the officer. I guess
like right at his head?
Yeah, one of the legs hit the officer in the chest, and the other one narrowly missed his head.
That's like the coolest karate kick ever.
Well, it's kind of
your leg
funny.
actually leaves your body and flies into the dude's head.
Well, if you think about it, it's kind of funny. So the guy already charged the officer twice. Well, now, I mean, this is kind of like a last-ditch effort. This was like this was his atomic bomb.
Right.
His prosthetic limbs. So he was lying on the ground with both legs at the officer, and one of them hit him in the chest. The other one missed him. Then the officer proceeded just to jump on him and just first of all punch him a couple times, and then just subdue him by handcuffing him and leaving him on the ground. Following the incident, Officer Newcomb called his sergeant to the scene, and this is my favorite line of the whole article. The sergeant, Mike Mayer, said, quote unquote, "I'm sure Officer Newcomb felt that the act was threatening." Do you think so?
I'm surprised that he wasn't threatened by the AK-47 comment, but the legs really shook him up, huh? He had to call him back up for that.
Well, I mean, how many times do you think in an officer's career do you ever pull someone over for drunk driving and they throw their prosthetic limbs at you?
Probably only once.
Maybe once.
If that.
I mean, this guy just took his legs off. And I guess he took them off. They went up to the knees, so he had stumps
at
the knees.
Yeah.
And he threw both legs at the officer.
He was just like toddling around on the ground at that point after he threw them at him?
Yeah, he was just kind of, he was like kind of, rolling on the ground, still trying to get the officer, and the officer kind of jumped on him and just, handcuffed his back. So I guess they booked the father, Joel Gimpy, 53 years old, was booked with suspicion of menacing, assaulting an officer, interference with an officer, criminal conspiracy, and resisting arrest. His bail was set at $45,000.
Wow.
The son, Adam, was also booked on charges of driving under the influence, reckless driving, resisting arrest, and attempted assault of an officer. His blood alcohol level was 0.1% 4 hours after the incident.
That's some good drinking.
So how wasted do you think this guy was?
I think the reason the officer didn't make a bigger deal about the guy saying he had a gun is because they were so just blitzed. He knew there was nothing.
Dude, they were so blitzed and retarded. I mean, this guy. I think the best line of it, of the whole article, other than the fact that the officer felt that the leg throwing was threatening, was my favorite part of it is, so he pulls the guys over. He tells the one guy to get out of the vehicle. And then the dad, with 2 prosthetic limbs, is like, "Let's get him!" and jumps out of the car.
I wonder if that's just a move that they've pre-planned. Plan number 47B. I'm gonna throw my legs at him.
Well, he's just like, he jumps out of the car. He's like, "Let's get him!" And could you imagine watching this guy run or try to run?
Well, no, that's what's funny about this article to me is, I mean, it says that he's like getting up off the ground and I mean, are these like bionic legs? He's charging people.
It says that they're wooden. They're wooden prosthetic limbs. And what's funny about it to me is, so the guy pulls him over. He sees this man with 2 fake legs jump out of the car and go, "Let's get him." And then he's screaming at the top of his lungs, "I'm going to rip your head off," to the officer. And what does the officer do? He steps back and kicks the guy in the chest and sends him flying back 5 feet.
Was it Chuck Norris? Oh, no, Newcomb, you said, not Norris.
No, it's Newcomb, but he might as well have been a Texas Ranger. I mean, that's badass.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what this officer was telling everybody else back when he got to the police station? Like, dude, you'll never believe what happened.
Right.
I just got attacked by this guy with 2 fake legs and his son.
Do you think they harassed him about it, though, that he couldn't just take the cripple down immediately? It was a battle?
Well, dude, he was fighting the cripple, and meanwhile the son jumped out of the car and jumped on the officer from behind. Like, he jumps on his back. So the officer had to deal with both of them.
I imagine that there's...
It's kind of a badass officer.
I imagine that there's like that Dukes of Hazzard banjo music going on in the background while this is happening.
Just a good old boy. Never say they had legs.
$45,000 bail, though. That's pretty high. They're tough on
The son was $20,000.
They're tough on cripple crime up there.
I wonder how wasted these guys must have been. I mean, they probably were drinking all night at the bar. The dad's, the son's like, "Dad, we're going out tonight drinking." And, it's funny, too, because you think, where is the parental guidance here?
Oh, that was gone long ago.
They're driving the wrong way.
But it's hard. They're
driving south on a northbound freeway.
It's hard to keep up with a guy like that because, I mean, he drinks like he's got 2 hollow legs.
Because he does have 2 hollow legs.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess all in all, the officer ended up, just taking both these guys down and, arrested them.
That's just wrong.
It's just completely wrong. It's kind of sick, too. I guess it's not as sick as if the guy just ripped his legs off and they were bloody stumps. But it's still just kind of sick to me that he threw his legs.
Stumps are kind of sick, even after they're all healed up,
But you know what's interesting about this? So the son refused to get out of the vehicle. And now you've been pulled over before. You got a DUI, right?
Yes. So, that was a great experience in my life. If you want to talk about it, let's just do a whole show about that.
I remember quite fondly. But when the officer pulled you over and he was like, "Would you step out of the car, please?" Were you like, "No"?
No, the opposite. I was like, "Yeah, I'm really hammered. Just take me to jail."
I mean, were you just completely wasted? Did you refuse a breathalyzer?
Oh, no. I didn't refuse anything.
Yeah, I read something over the weekend that you're supposed to. Or if you have a better chance of getting out of the ticket if you refuse a breathalyzer.
I'm not so sure, but I know in Michigan when you get your license, you sign away the right to refuse the breathalyzer. At least when you're 16 or something. Maybe that goes away once you're 21. I don't know. I wasn't 21 at the time.
What I read, the article said that I guess some states are trying to pass tougher legislation that if you do refuse a breathalyzer, then you fail with the blood test or the urine test,
right?
Then they really get to put the hand of doom on you.
Yeah.
Like they take your car, they take your virginity, they take your wife.
That's going to happen in jail anyways.
Yeah, I imagine. But I know, I mean, I guess they're really harsh. But
the only thing I've ever heard...
It's interesting to me, though, that this dude obviously refused to get out of the vehicle and must have refused the breathalyzer, and yet he was still 0.1% 4 hours after the incident.
And this just happened, you said?
This was just this past Saturday.
So do you think the dude... Oregon, it gets cold up there. Do you think the guy had shorts on? How did he get these legs off so fast?
I don't, sweatpants. You know this guy was wearing sweatpants.
You're probably right. Sweatpants all the way.
I mean, these guys had to be white trash. You know what bums me out about when you get a good article like this, when something cool happens, they never show a picture.
No.
I would just love to see the mug shot of the father and son.
Or just a picture of the legs.
As evidence.
Right.
Because when he goes to trial, they're going to be like, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, these two legs were used as weapons.
Yeah, do you think they gave him back the legs before they threw him in jail?
Yeah, I don't know. Did they just throw him in with his stumps?
I think they probably just did with his stumps.
You know what would have been funnier if the dad would have just taken off one leg, threw it to the son, and the son just kind of nailed the officer from behind.
Or they both would have been like the two musketeers with fake legs.
Or a little Kill Bill.
Right.
Action going on. Like maybe if the dad took one leg off and then was jumping at the officer.
Right.
But then I think he probably would have got more than a kick in the chest. Well, anyways, let me just wrap this up here. On the sick and wrong scale, because I guess it's not that sick.
No, but it's funny.
But it's pretty wrong and it's pretty funny. I'm going to give it, I guess, probably about a 7.5. I always give my articles high.
You get a 5 and a half. You get a 5 and a half because it's not really sick. But it is funny.
But it is funny and it's wrong.
It's
the guy
wrong,
threw his fake limbs at the officer.
Yeah, the familial drinking is always kind of wrong.
The familial drinking. Well,
maybe I'll give you 6.
I invite the audience to tell me what you think of this. Send us an email, stickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com. Well, what you got for me, Lance?
You
got something better than this, funnier than this?
Oh, no, mine's just kind of sick.
All right.
And wrong.
Here's Lance's article.
This happened in Cincinnati, the lovely city in Ohio, down on the Ohio-Kentucky border.
Jerry Springer is mayor of Cincinnati.
I didn't know that. I thought it was Cleveland. But anyway.
No, it's Cincinnati.
It's neither here nor there.
That's where he got the hooker.
After he was mayor or during?
I think it was after he was mayor. That's why he's not mayor of Cincinnati anymore.
Okay.
Or this is in the 80s.
Did the hooker have a penis?
No, I think it was a real hooker. I don't know where. I don't know where he banged her, but he ended up losing his mayorship.
Well, this is what happened that I heard about in Cincinnati. The mummified body of a woman who didn't want to be buried was found in a chair in front of her television set 2.5 years after her death, authorities said.
Psycho.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
That's pretty insane.
So a lot of the time, old people who live alone and they're like a recluse, they just die and nobody knows about it. But usually, if you're a recluse, you have people that bring you food or whatever, or somebody who's trying to scam you out of money that comes by and finds out that you're dead. But I think the operative word in that lead-in paragraph is she didn't want to be buried.
So how old was this woman?
She was 61.
So she was 61 years old, lived by herself.
She died in August 2003. Oh, no.
She didn't live by herself.
She lived with a caregiver, which I assume was like a nurse, a live-in nurse, her daughter, and then her daughter's child. This woman...
So there are 3 people that lived with this lady, and she was dead for 2.5 years in front of the TV set, and they did nothing.
She told them that she didn't want to be buried, and the caregiver apparently respected those wishes and just left her upstairs in front of the TV. It says that...
This is one of those articles that you just have to say, what the fuck
is wrong with people?
Yeah, seriously.
It's the same people that give their fucking kids wheelie bags.
The wheelie bags, I guarantee you.
They just have no sense. So here's what happened. I mean, here, a little deeper into the story. So she dies. They put her upstairs in a lazy boy or whatever in front of the TV. I guess the TV's on for 3 years. She died in August 2003. I don't know if I mentioned that. They turn on an air conditioner, that went for 3 years. That'd be a good ad for like, you know, Train air conditioning or something, you know.
Was it just to like stop, you know, to halt
they say that's why
the decomposition?
I mean, this is in a neighborhood. That's why there wasn't like some horrible stench coming out of the house, because they just cooled it down to like 65 degrees for 3 years.
So they basically just kind of kept it like a cooler, like you keep meat.
Right, upstairs.
Upstairs.
This you know, probably a little house in the suburbs out there.
Do you think they watch TV with her?
No, because let me get more into the story. So what happens is the air conditioner, after 3 years of running constantly, you know, summer, winter, finally goes out, and then obviously out in the street, all the neighbors are like, "What the fuck smells in that house, dude?" And wasn't there some old lady that we never see anymore?
Yeah, where's Grandma?
So the quote by the detective was, "Standing outside, one could smell death," is what he says.
One could smell death.
Police went to the house
doesn't that sound like a metal song?
Yeah, it does.
Like
That'd be a good one.
The smell of death.
My grandma's all dead upstairs. Police went to the house after receiving a call from a relative who hadn't seen Pope in years. So it's nice to know the relatives are keeping in touch.
So a relative didn't see the mother for years and called the police?
Right.
She suspected foul play.
But then, I mean, I guess it was also... Maybe, I guess the neighbors didn't say anything because it's the relative called. That's why they went to the house.
It's probably because they had their dead relatives upstairs in their freezer.
Right. It's like the whole neighborhood. It's a little neighborhood association type thing. So they found a staircase behind a door blocked by a basket. So they just basically...
So they had a secret room.
No. I think it was the whole upstairs. They just cordoned off the entire upstairs and was like, that's Grandma's dead room now.
So that's the mausoleum.
Right.
God, that's so weird.
So the article doesn't really go into, you know, what the fuck was up with these people or what explanation they gave. They say the caregiver was not somebody you'd think was from another planet or really seems off the wall. She's kind of a normal person.
How old was the caregiver?
But I think out of loyalty, friendship, and love of her friend, she decided to keep the body at home. Kind of like, you know, what is the guy? Anthony Perkins? Is that his name in the movie, or is that his real name?
No, Psycho. Psycho. What was his name in Psycho?
I don't remember. Norman Bates. So, yeah, I mean, they're trying to make...
So she had the Bates Motel there.
This detective is still trying to make her out to be, like, this nice person. I don't know why he feels the need to, like, you know, buff her image.
I don't even understand how. I mean, I love how he uses the adjective nice.
Right.
I think maybe insane might be a little more fitting.
Right. She's a normal kind of person. She's loyal.
How was that
Friendship
normal?
and love. She just decided to keep... Well, because this woman said she didn't want to be buried.
So wait a second. Let me backtrack a little bit. How old was the caregiver? Did they
The caregiver was in her 40s.
And the daughter?
The daughter, it doesn't say, but if this woman was 61, I'm assuming she's maybe 30 or something like that.
Maybe in her 20s.
10 years
probably.
younger.
She's probably in her 20s.
The daughter, 3 years old.
The daughter was 3.
Yeah, she'll be normal when she grows up. Mommy, what's up? What's behind that door that's blocked by the basket?
Well,
don't go up there.
What I don't get about this, okay, you know, I guess I've dealt with this situation sort of with Grandma before, but I can understand like outlandish requests for like living wills and whatnot. But let's say your grandmother was like, Lance, I don't want to be buried. You have to keep me in front of the TV set. What would you say?
I'd say whatever you want, Grandma. And as soon as she kicked the bucket, she'd be in a coffin. You
just cremate her?
No, well, we just call the whatever, the meat wagon would come and get her. She doesn't care anymore.
I'm never giving you my last rites.
It's probably a good thing to do.
Well, no, I've always said like the way I want to be buried is to be hollowed out, stuffed full of Brock's candy, hung from the ceiling. Everyone gets a bat like a piñata. But no one would do that.
I'll just eat the Brock's candy.
After it comes out of my anus.
No, why would I want to be in competition with a bunch of other people?
You wouldn't take a whack?
I might whack at you.
Give me a little whack.
But I'm not going to stuff the candy in. I always thought you wanted to be buried in front of the internet with surfing internet porn.
Gay porn? No, actually, I don't want to be found anywhere near my computer once I'm dead. Because, you know, people are going to find some, like, seriously condemning evidence in there. But no, I'm
going to set you in that chair and have, like, Style Project up or something.
I don't even want to know what you're going to do with my corpse. But no,
but just to give you a little worse feeling, that'll be the 5th thing I do.
The 5th thing. God, that's just scary. But no, what I'm saying here is, like, the family... So the one reason why I think this woman, I kind of have to commend this woman a bit, is she did take her mother's last will and testament to heart. She actually acted on it.
I think it was the caregiver that was behind it all. I don't think it was the daughter. Although she must have been, consenting.
The caregiver's not the daughter?
No, the caregiver's just some nurse that lives with them.
Oh, my God.
Maybe part of it was she was like, oh, if this old lady's dead, then I'm out of a job.
Where was the daughter?
She's just there.
And the daughter lived there and didn't even care?
They don't say anything about the daughter, about her personality or anything, but, just
I bet you that whole
people.
family was retarded.
That kid's permanently damaged,
The kid's only 3, though.
You think she'll forget about it?
I bet you, they'll never tell her until she's, 25.
What do you think was on the TV?
I don't know. What's Judge Judy, probably? Springer?
Well, yeah, but it's got, you're watching it 24 hours a day, in your...
So they just left her up there. They found her mummified, though? She was like a corpse, just shriveled up?
There's a comment that...
Like a piece of dried fruit?
There's a comment that it could take weeks to determine Pope's cause of death because little organ tissue was available for testing. So it's just kind of like dried skin over bones. Those little window air conditioners do a good job, dude.
God, she's been up there for 2 years, too.
I wonder if they would go up and change the channel. That was my point of asking what was on.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if, after a while, they're just like, she's got to be bored by this.
Or because sometimes, you like a channel, and then 2 years later, it changes format, and it's like Christian programming or something. I don't want to be watching that for eternity.
So they kept the television on nonstop all that time?
Yeah, apparently.
God, and the air conditioner. You'd think their electric bill would be kind of high.
You'd think once her eyeballs rotted out, they would just go up and turn it off.
Because she's not really watching it anymore.
Yeah, but the electricity bill coming from your Jewish sensibilities.
I know my Jewish nature is kicking in
here.
The
air conditioner and the TV on 24
my
hours
Jewish
a day.
reading of this article would be like, God, this is so expensive.
Jews would never do this.
I would never do this with my relative. I guess what I'd probably do is wait till she died, shut the TV off.
Right. I would wait for the eyes to rot out.
But I wonder how bad that must have just reeked.
Apparently they could live with it. I don't know, man.
I think the neighbors started smelling the smell of death.
Well, it said the detective walking up to the house was like, oh, something's not right here.
So I wonder if the caregiver tried to cover it up and just be like, no, I'm sorry, I have bad gas today.
It's another thing, if you ever go to somebody's house and there's a door that's blocked by something, you got to find out what's up there or just leave. If they won't let you behind that door, just leave. You want to get out of there.
So do you think they just let him in there and he just walked upstairs and was like, oh my God?
You mean, do you think they tried to hide it at first?
Yeah, I mean, what would they do?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think
pretend that she's alive still.
I think maybe
here's Mom.
Right.
Hold her up.
Yeah. Like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, you know what's kind of funny about this too? So the daughter wasn't like, yeah, you don't really need to give her any more care now, so you're fired.
Right. I don't know. Maybe they're lesbians or something.
I bet you there's some kind of weird lesbian.
This sound like a lesbian thing. This is one of those articles that doesn't go into enough detail.
And notice there are no men in this house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if there's a man in
that... man would be like, you fucking crazy bitches. Well, that body's going out tomorrow.
You crazy bitches are getting... that body's going out in the garbage.
I will choke a bitch.
Someone's going to have to choke a bitch. Jesus. Yeah, if I had the subjects of my article in that house, there would have been some leg whacking going on.
Yeah.
Some serious leg whacking.
Oh, yeah. So what do you give that one?
Well, it's a mummified corpse. It's been there for 2 years watching TV. And
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And the family continued to live in that house. It's definitely sick, and it's pretty wrong. I think I'm going to have to give that, as much as I hate to, I think I might have to give that an 8.
I think it's 2-1, baby.
I think this might be 2-1, just because it's sick and wrong. But my article is so much funnier, though.
It is funnier. This one's one of those stories that's not really fun. Well, it's kind of funny, but
it's kind of funny, but it's just plain fucked.
I still think I win.
All right. I'm going to concede, but I'm going to keep this open to the listening audience.
It's always
open. Send us
open.
an email, sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com, and you can vote as to who really is the champion of this podcast number 3.
Hey, before we get out of here, though, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, Mr. D. Simon.
Oh, yes. Thank you. 31 years old as of yesterday.
Did you get what you wanted for your birthday?
Actually, I got I got what I've always wanted. A big box of gay porn from my good friend Pat.
Gay S&M porn, apparently, from the look of the box.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, you have a true friend when they give you a big box of gay porn. It was like, seriously, people, there must have been like 30 DVDs in this box.
I don't think people understand the meaning of big box of gay porn.
30 DVDs?
30 to 40.
You know what I kept wondering? Where the hell did Pat get that?
They look pretty new, but...
They're all wrapped.
Yeah.
But they were really sticky. They were stuck together.
I think maybe he
why.
just jerked off to the pictures on the back of the box.
Yeah, so he gives me this big box of gay porn, and it was kind of funny. We're at this restaurant when he gives it to me, so obviously everyone there saw the big box of gay porn. Yes, the embarrassment was uncanny. But, yeah, anyways, I got to tip the waitresses out with the gay porn. I mean, how often does that ever happen?
She seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah, she came outside and was just like, "Is this for me?" And I'm like, "It sure is, baby." It was kind of cool. But to make a long story short, I ended up giving the gay porn to my gay brother. So it was kind of like a birthday gift for him. I sort of like immediately regifted it. And it looked like my brother was like a kid in a candy store. It looked like he was at Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah.
At Chuck E. Cheese.
He was
just like, yeah.
He was pitching a big tent.
Oh, he was just gritting side to side. He's like, I got to get this home. I got to take off a little early. So sorry, I can't hang out all night. And I'm like, just go with gay porn. Have fun.
How are we going to top that next year? I don't know.
Big box of gay porn. It's almost as good as the blow-up mermaid sex doll that I got last year.
Which is my microphone stand.
Yes,
that
is your microphone stand.
People don't even understand what we're talking about.
We got to wrap this up here, and you can hear the music. People, if you know the song that we play for the closing song, send us an email, and maybe we'll give you a gift.
Maybe we could give out a gay porn DVD.
Get some gay porn DVDs, because I have a big box of them. Just go get one for my brother. I'll have to, pull it from his, clean
that's
hands,
be
his
tough.
death grip.
You might have to take some ether over there or something.
Something to get it out. I don't know. Well, stay tuned for podcast number 4, which is coming up, I believe, next week. I have a great article that I was going to do this week, but I think I'm going to save it because next week I'm pulling out the big guns.
I'll get an article from Highlights magazine or something to give you an easy one.
Give me an easy one. I wish I had a fake leg because I'd smack you over the head with it right now.
All right, let's go watch some gay porn.
Okay. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.